Hello and good day. Welcome to our video channel, God's Promises. And today's video will be a fast, concise overview, Book of 1 Samuel, chapter 30. Let's get started now. The Book of 1 Samuel is a historical narrative that tells the story of Israel's transition from a confederation of tribes to a monarchy. Chapter 30 of 1 Samuel is a pivotal chapter in the book, as it depicts David's faith and character during a challenging time. In this chapter, David and his men are returning from a raid on the Amalekites when they discover that their families and possessions have been taken captive. The chapter teaches important lessons about perseverance, faith, and reliance on God. The chapter begins with David and his men returning from a successful raid against the Amalekites, a nomadic people who had attacked Israel in the past. The raid was not only successful, but David and his men had also saved the lives of an Egyptian slave who had been abandoned by the Amalekites. However, upon their return to their town of Ziklag, they found that the Amalekites had raided their homes and taken their families captive, including David's two wives, Ahinoam and Abigail. The situation was dire, and David's men were so upset that they talked about stoning him. But instead of reacting with anger or despair, David strengthened himself in the Lord his God. 1 Samuel 30 verse 6. This is a powerful statement that shows David's faith and reliance on God, even in the midst of great adversity. David then asked God for guidance on what to do, and God answered him by telling him to pursue the Amalekites and promising that he would recover everything that had been taken. David and his 600 men set out immediately to pursue the Amalekites, but 200 of them were too exhausted to continue and had to stay behind. This is a reminder that not everyone will have the same level of faith or endurance, but God can still use those who are willing to step out in faith. David and the remaining 400 men caught up with the Amalekites and launched a surprise attack, which resulted in a great victory. They recovered everything that had been taken, including their families and possessions, as well as the spoils of war that the Amalekites had taken from other nations. David and his men were able to bring back not only what was rightfully theirs, but also a great bounty that they could share with others. The chapter ends with David sending gifts to his friends and allies, which shows his generosity and gratitude for their support. However, there is also a note of caution, as some of the men who had accompanied David were described as wicked and worthless. 1 Samuel 30 verse 22, and wanted to keep the spoils for themselves. This reminds us that even in times of victory, there will be those who may not have the same values or priorities as we do, and we need to be discerning and wise in our relationships. The teaching application of this chapter is clear. Even in the darkest moments, we can trust in God's promises and rely on His strength to help us persevere. David's example shows us the power of prayer, faith, and obedience, even when the situation seems impossible. His faith and courage in the face of great adversity serve as an inspiration for us today. This chapter also teaches us the importance of community and generosity. David's men worked together to pursue the Amalekites, and they shared the spoils of war with others. We too should seek to build strong relationships with those around us and be willing to share our blessings with others. Finally, this chapter reminds us that not everyone will share our values or priorities. We need to be discerning in our relationships and avoid those who may lead us astray. We should seek to surround ourselves with people who will encourage us to grow in our faith. Thank you for visiting us today. Please share with us your favorite Bible chapter below in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help our channel grow. Looking forward to see you back here for our next video. Always take good care.